Hello, this is the second part on a two-part series on the Vertex in AstroMaps. This is a new feature in the Series 4.0 software. It just helps tremendously in understanding what's going on to people in different locations. So what I have here is a vocation and career map for my wife, Faye. And let me show it to you in the software. I showed some of this with complementary information at the recent Vibrational Astrology Conference. I'm going to show you some different things here to complement what I showed there. And I'm going to show more clearly how you select these things in the software and in this video. So I've got Faye's chart up here, and I just go to Maps and then select AstroMap. And I have my kinds of AstroMaps. And over here I select the region I want. If I want to do France, there it is, and I get a preview of the area. And then you can adjust the area if you want to. You can, zoom out. You can move it right and left. So you can adjust as well. But I'm going to put in United States. And then in the upper right corner, I have the kinds of maps. I'm going to select a treasure map. The one I showed in the first part with the lines is called the no orbs, just lines. This third one. Now let me show you the treasure map. And let's go to vocation and career. This will show where Sun and Mars and Jupiter, where they are active, where they're doing things in your relocated chart. It will include midpoints. So let's look at it. And let's not check vertex lines. So you can include vertex lines in the Series 4.0 software, in the no orbs, just lines, and also in the treasure maps. It's very cool what happens in the treasure map. So first let's look at it without the vertex lines. And what you're going to see is that going right here, right through Central Florida, for Faye, she was born in the Philippines, moves halfway around the world, right here, right on her sun line for vocation and career, going right through Gainesville, Florida. Amazing. Now, because I'm not including the vertex lines, this is a standard astromap, which assumes that the ascendant is equally important at every latitude. It's not making it weaker as it goes towards the North Pole and South Pole. When I add the vertex, it's going to adjust it. And what will happen is that this red for Sun conjunct the ascendant and also Sun Pluto midpoint conjunct the ascendant is going to get redder as we head south into Florida. Let me show it to you. But you see here how it's all the same intensity of yellow to red. The redder it is, the stronger it is. So you see this is strong, very red. But watch this. When we right click, we check vertex lines. Click OK. It takes a few seconds to come up because it's got to do all this fancy shading and complicated calculations. And when it comes up, we're going to see that there it is. Look at that. Up here in Canada, it's all yellow. All yellow, which means it's there, but not ultra intense. As you head south, wow, it turns into this bright red. It would turn even redder, or it does turn redder, if we zoom out and see what happens as we head even farther south. But already at the latitude of Florida, it's red hot. It looks red hot. Is that amazing or what? It pinpoints this. So before we use the vertex, with these adjusted strengths, we would say that all of these are equally important. We just saw the map. Shows they're all equally important. So she could be up here, on the west side of Michigan. That would be equally good for career. But with this new feature, that not only does it add the vertex, it adjusts the strength accordingly. We see that western Michigan is not as good for bringing her sun onto the ascendant, which is one of the best places for presenting yourself, for career, for your placement in the world, for having an impact, especially as we head south. It just makes sense. So you'll see when you're doing charts for people, you're going to see that you're going to see that it simply makes more sense. I was going to drag my picture over here. Okay, there I am. It just makes more sense as you work on charts of clients. It's just fantastic. You're getting all of this additional information that refines your understanding of what's going on. Okay, back to our PowerPoint. So I'm just showing here that this is the Sun conjunct ascendant and the Sun-Pluto midpoint on the ascendant. That's what was found. It's amazing that over the decades of research, of working with clients, of software development, getting this down finer and finer, more and more precise, and there for comparison is the one we looked at without the vertex checked. If we go back and forth, that's with vertex, without vertex. With vertex, more lines, the blue labels, those light blue labels, those are vertex, telling us about additional things and also adjusting the weight. Back to the no vertex, that's all there is to it. Okay, so those additional lines are improving our understanding. And to illustrate this, what will happen with your clients by adding in the vertex, you'll get this increased precision, this greater accuracy, this greater insight into what's going on. And here I'm showing in the software where you select it. I've already showed you this. Now you can do compatibility, where you'll see the effect of how your relationship changes in different places. This is fascinating. Your relationship with someone will change in different locations. So what we can do to see this, and here is phase effect on David. This is phase planets to David's house cusps. So when you do this compatibility, you're looking at one person's planets to the other person's house cusps. Their ascendant, descendant, midheaven, IC, vertex, and anti-vertex. And the idea is that, in this case, it's phase planets to my houses, so it's the way she affects me. The person with the planets is affecting the other person who has the houses. And here's how you select it. I'll right-click on this wheel. And let me see, if I go back to my PowerPoint, what map is this? This looks like, it's a vocation and career map. So it's vocation and career, but interactively. How do we work as a team in vocation and career? And you can do it both ways. So I'm looking at phase chart. So I'm going to, down here, instead of saying normal, I'll compare her to me. Chart to compare to. And this will be one of the ways. The other thing I'll do is I'll select the other way. I'll pull up my chart and compare to Faye. So we pull this up. Again, it takes a little while to calculate, and it will compare one person's planets to the other person's house cusps. So selecting it from Faye's chart is showing the impact of Faye on me. And look at that. Her Jupiter conjunct my midheaven. Amazing. And so she does promotion, development, things like this. Just fantastic the way you can see all these details. Okay, back to the PowerPoint. So phase Jupiter conjunct my midheaven. And if we do a bi-wheel, I can bring this up in the software, but if you do a bi-wheel of her chart and my chart, you'll see that her Jupiter is on my relocated. You relocate me to Gainesville and then do phase planets. Doesn't matter whether you relocate it or not because her planets' positions won't change, but the person whose house cusps are involved, you need to, if I locate it to Gainesville, Florida, her Jupiter is right exactly on my midheaven, completely descriptive of what happens. Faye promotes and expands David's place in the world in Gainesville, Florida. Amazing. This is the kind of thing you can do using the compatibility features. So here's a love and romance. You got the idea of how you would select it. And again, you can see what's going on. If we include the vertex, we have a line coming right here through Florida. Love and romance. So Well, let me show it to you. If I go back to the software and let's see, let me drag this out of the way. Looking at phase chart. So let's right click, go to love and romance with the vertex checked, and then we see coming up, I think I selected this correctly. Let's see. This should be, if I've done it right. If it's not right, then you just select again. Yeah, just select it the other way. So I've selected from phase chart, comparing to me, and it makes it clear what you have here in this caption. So read the caption. Phase, planets, David's ascending midheaven. The person with the planets is affecting the person with the ascending midheaven. So phase Venus on my vertex right here in Gainesville, Florida. If I right click and I remove this, now, by the way, before I remove it, it's yellow. It's not extremely strong because the vertex is getting weak down here in Florida. Up here, notice it's redder. It's even stronger. But there's a little bit of vertex, a little bit of Venus because of the vertex. There's something going on with Venus. If I remove the vertex lines, then of course this will be missing. And you'll see no potential for expanding that romantic connection here if we leave the vertex out. So these are the kinds of things you can look at. I think you've got the idea. I've got a lot more examples. I'll just show you a few more. And here's phase V. Oh, that just illustrates the bi-wheel of what you would see. And that's without the vertex. And these I went through in detail in the conference lecture. So if you're at the lecture, you also got the recordings, and you can watch those for more detail. I don't think I need to go through the rest of this because it's in the video for recording of the conference. I don't want to replicate everything here, but I wanted to go through the way it's selected in a little more detail and what we're looking at to explain that part of it to complement what was presented at the conference. So now, but I will go through this quickly. This is a friendship and family map. You'll find that close relatives are on these lines, and it makes more sense when you include the vertex. So you can run the friendship and family. You'll find friends and family are on these lines. It's amazing. In addition to where you live, the people you're connected with. So it's just unbelievable how interconnected everyone is. One of the phenomenally mind-boggling things that we're realizing in vibrational astrology is how everything is so intricately interconnected. It's just unbelievable that whatever you do, whatever other people that you're connected with, they're all actually interconnected. It's amazing. All thoughts and feelings are interconnected in this space, mental and emotional space somehow. It's really, really amazing how all of us are interconnected, and everything we do is affecting the matrix of people that we are involved with, even if we are not seeing them or talking to them, that we have those bonds that go back. It's just phenomenal. So this is just showing some of that, how that all connects together. Well, that's it, my friends. I wanted to share with you some of the things we're doing with adding the vertex to AstroMaps. Huge step, including the vertex in understanding how houses work. We'll make more and more videos about that as we do the research. But this is a big breakthrough for AstroMaps. Okay, thank you very much for listening, my friends. God bless. Namaste.